Greetings, YouTube world. On today's adventure, we're going to take our Will It Run, Yes It Will, with a whole bunch of effort lawnmower. We're going to pluck the engine off the deck. We're going to turn it sideways and see if we can convert it into a horizontal shaft rather than vertical. I've seen quite a few different videos out there on how to do it. I think I have a pretty good idea. So let's see how this goes. So for starters, let's go ahead and remove what we know already comes off the top with the pull start that we don't have that doesn't work. And let's go ahead and pull this back off again and take the air cleaner off, kind of lighten things up a little bit. In the last video you saw me remove all that stuff, so I just went ahead and took care of it. I'm going to take the fuel tank off next. Looks like there's only 2 bolts that hold the whole thing on, so it shouldn't be so bad. There's 2. Yep, just the 2. This should just slide right off. There we go. Disconnect it from our governor here. Hi, Titan. My other dog coming to say hello. There we go. This fuel tank is full of turpentine, pretty much at this point. So I'll use that and stain my deck later. Hi, Titan. No, I don't want to throw your stick right now. Can you please fetch it up? Fetch it up. Come on. Fetch it up. There you go. Get going. Get. Looks like we have 3 bolts holding the engine to the deck. Not so bad. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Pretty amazing how light this is. Get my curls in for the day. Yeah, right. There she is in all of her glory. Let's go ahead and pop this off. Get some fresh oil in it for later. That should be good. Not that we're going to use this dipstick anymore, but still got to plug the hole. Your useless information of the day. Did you know that the holes in this tip are actually there to increase airflow? Some people think it's a way to reduce the airflow, when in reality, as the air is leaving the nozzle, it draws in more air through those holes and increases the amount of flow. If you take the tip off, it actually it blows really crappily. Not a whole lot comes out. So there's your useless info of the day. And now that 3/4 of you have probably left, let's get back to what we were doing. And we need to, first of all, get rid of this. And I'm going to need to pull that off. So that's going to suck for sure. Alright, put the bolt back in. And get this baby to the right thread length. Grab the impact and cross your fingers. Wow, that actually... Okay. A little bit of a horror scene addition to this episode. It's a bit breezy today, so the wind grabbed the door and decided to adjust its position. Okay, well, there's our mower blade adapter. Has the key built into it. Alright, now I'm going to take this cover off. Okay, here we go. Okay, bolts are out. Let's see what's behind door number 1. Use some PB blaster with the throttle. Oh, well, that's way too little throttle, apparently. Turn up the pump. Oh, now we have the usual PB blaster amount. Wow. Crankshaft, camshaft. This is your oil slinger. Just spins around and chucks oil all over the place. That's how they're lubricated. They call it splash lubrication. So what we're going to do is spin this over. Probably would have been smart to take the spark plug out so I can spin it easily. Now, since we're going to be in a vertical setup, I'm going to put something on the end of the connecting rod right here to get down and dip into the oil and fire it all over the place. And that should be enough splash lubrication to get everywhere we need it to go, including up into the valve train area. So I'm going to find a piece of metal that I can drill a hole in and bolt to that connecting rod. I'm quite literally going to use a piece of gutter for this. Got some tin snips. Now ideally what's going to happen is the paint will flake off over time, and it should help contribute to the lubricating properties of the oil. Great thing about this engine is it's very simple. A lot of the other ones have governors that are sticking inside of it and all kinds of other linkages people have to cut and plug, and some people drill additional holes up here to get oil into the valve train, but I saw one person do that and it ended up spitting oil out the crankcase breather, so it was too much lubrication. Anyway, I'm done talking for a little bit. Okay, there we go. Alright, here's our final slinger. Got a little curve to it so that as it rotates around, it's going to scoop the oil and chuck it up there and get it up into the valve train area as well. I have a couple of ears that I folded into it so that it kind of hugs the connecting rod. And let's get that bolt back on there, see how this all works out. And I think we're good. Calibrated elbow says we're at the torque spec. So now we can put it back together. I'm definitely going to reuse that junk gasket. Should work just fine. Okay, so I took the cover, sprayed it out with brake clean. Looks pretty decent. You'll see a lot of people that will put JB Weld on this channel right here and block it and then carve a new groove in the top, you know, as a way for the lubrication to get in there. I'm not going to do that because I want to see if we really need to do that. I think as this thing is rotating and splashing like crazy, I think it's going to feed from here. It may not feed as efficiently as through the top, but I think that should be adequate. Same thing on this side here for the camshaft. They do the same thing, carve a groove in the top for oil to get in. I'm not going to do that either. We've got a notch here in the side that should feed plenty of oil to the cam. So let's get putting this thing back together. Went ahead and put some 1540 on a few spots, hoping we can get this together a little easier than it came apart. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, looking good. We'll get the bolts. Reassembly complete. I did a couple of spins with it, and the end of that crank is bent as can be. Not that that's going to change what we're doing here. Oh well, we'll keep on keeping on. For our next trick of the day, I'm going to bend this up out of the way because I need to be able to get the fuel tank back on there. There we go. I have no desire to use any type of governor setup. Now comes the carburetor fitment. So So we need it to go on here. We've got our PCV line that's in the way. I think I might just bend that on out of the way and run a rubber tube to it. I was able to just take this, bend that out of the way. This is in the way, so we're just going to do a governor delete. This will go on here. Now we have a bit of interference between, ouch, our flywheel and our fuel tank. So I'm going to take a hammer and just sort of clearance our fuel tank out of the way. I put the cover on and okay, pieces are falling out of our carburetor here. I put the cover on, found that I needed to do a partial cover delete, but this mounts up here quite nicely. I did a very nice clearancing job on the gas tank, but nobody's going to see it. Plus, this is just kind of a playtime. There was a boss inside of a piece of metal that I can't find right now, but this will work quite splendidly for a spacer right here, so that we can bolt our tank to the cover. And so I'm going to mark that out, drill a hole in it, and see what we can do. Can't put this whole thing together and run it with a fuel tank that has a bunch of turpentine in it, so I'm going to go ahead and brake clean that for a little bit, and we'll do some shaking, hopefully clean that out. This carb's probably completely gummed up, but we'll give it a shot. This is also a handy trick that I've done before. I found a riding mower on the side of the road and it was full of water because the gas cap had the little indicator on it, and that indicator was broken. So it filled up with water because it had been sitting outside. The brake clean cleaned it up pretty nicely. Just getting the residual out. Yeah, not bad actually. It's just brake clean colored. So this is your typical small engine carb in tank setup. We got the carburetor. See if I can conserve this gasket. Yeah, nice. Got your carburetor and a little, that's basically a carb and float built into one. You got a little reservoir here for your gas. This is where it picks it up. So picks it up, pumps it over, dumps it into that little bowl. I mean, it's not really that bad. Got a little pump right here. That's actually still, it's not super soft. I think I bought a stash of these from Amazon, of course, where everyone buys everything. So I'm going to see if I have a new gasket. And here we have exactly what we need. So we can replace that little pump and it should start working correctly in that aspect. As far as the jets, I don't even think they're serviceable because it's kind of a disposable setup. And we're back. Okay, got this all cleaned out. I blew out passages, checked it with my mouth, and I can get air through the jet and through the fuel pickup. I cleaned this all up, blew that out. Here's your little filter screen for the fuel pickup, so I need to blow that out yet, but I think we're in good shape here. I also have a replacement primer bulb. I don't know why I'm putting effort into this as much as I am, but why not? After a little investigation, this is the style that I was thinking. Got a couple of ears that you pry up, and that you pry away from locking in there. So I got the old primer bulb out, putting the new primer bulb in. One click, two clicks. I can hear it. Okay. Alright, starting to look like an engine again. Got the fuel tank on there with the one bolt, so that'll not flop anywhere at all. Got our plug wire here with no end. I bolted the cover back on, and I realized I'm going to have to start it on that side since the ripcord doesn't work. The reason you keep the cover on is to direct airflow across the cylinder, keep the cylinder cool. But should just be a matter of putting some gas and oil in it and firing it up. This could be exciting. Welcome back, YouTube. We are on day 2 of this adventure. I put some fresh oil in it. I put about 3/4 of a quart in, which is probably way too much. But I'd rather start heavy, and if it smokes or spits oil out anywhere, then we'll just start removing some. And what I want to do now is bend the crankshaft a little bit more straight. This thing is so badly bent. I watched a quick video. You put a sleeve over the end so you don't damage the sleeve. So I have an impact socket on here. Put a bolt in the end and then you bash it with a hammer. So let's see if we can not break the tip off. Time for a ridiculous rundown. So I got it all back together, got the plug in, got our sweet plug wire attached, got the fuel container on, I bolted it to the blower housing there, and this is ratchet strapped to the bed of my pickup truck in a couple of spots, so should be nice and secure from going anywhere. I have the crankcase ventilation system going from under there over to a catch jar so we can see if any oil starts getting spit out. And the only last thing is our flywheel. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. My wife said we could get rid of an old tricycle stroller, and it just happens to be the same size as that snout. Now, is it gonna run straight and true? No. I beat the crap out of it with a hammer trying to get it to straighten out, but it's only helped a little bit. So let's get this bolted on, throw some gas in it, and turn it and run. Alright, I'm not freaking out. You're freaking out. Got this mounted up. I see it going a few different ways. First of all, this may separate from the bearing and just start freewheeling. I'm kind of hoping they weld themselves together. We'll see what happens. 2, the tire will explode because it's rated for like 2 miles per hour. 3, this will fall off and go flying into the garage, which it's made of rubber, so I'm not too concerned about that. Or 4, it'll just go spectacularly. So first thing I'm going to do is just hit it with some laughing gas and see if it even starts, because I don't know if it's in full throttle or no throttle right now. So I'd rather not start this thing with fuel in the tank when it's at watt. So let's let's see what happens. Okay, we're not going to talk about what's going on here. We're just gonna wing it. Okay, that is definitely sketchy. So let's put some gas in it. Well, I just checked the primer. Primer works. Oh boy. Yeah, that's not going to work. definitely runs. Definitely burning some oil too. So I'm guessing the oil level's too high right now. But what I'm going to do next is pull off the inspection cover on the side here and check for oil at the valves. Might be tough to see with all the sunlight, but there is plenty of oil in there. In fact, it's running out. So we are definitely getting lubrication to the valve train, which that was my biggest concern. So I think we'd be good to go. Alright folks, I think I'm calling it there, at least for this episode. I don't know what to do with this now. I'd like to be able to load it down a little bit and actually put it to work and see if it's adequate, because if it is, and all you got to do is flip an engine up, take out the old oiler, put in a little splash stick in there and call it a day. You make use of all kinds of engines, because I feel like so many power washers and other machines of that nature are just thrown to the side because it's a vertical shaft engine and you can't really apply it to like a go-kart or something fun like that. So anyway, thanks for watching as always, and we will catch you on the next one. Feel free to ask questions down below or give me some ideas. Take care. Greetings, YouTube world. On today's adventure, we're going to take our Will It Run, Yes It Will, with a whole bunch of effort mower, and geez, figure it out, dude. Make a little scoop, and no, I'm not going to leave it this thick. I'm going to trim down the middles. The middles? Wow. And we're back. Got this all cleaned out, blown out, and no, camera's back. And I think we're ready to bolt it up to the side of the engine here. Nope, you need the freaking cover on first, dipshit. You don't have bolts for it. It's worth a shot because I'd like to put something on here to try to help with momentum when we're running this thing. Where the hell is the screen wiggling?